Hi everybody and happy Saturday. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Calvin here with a look at your forecast and just a bit of an extended look here on KHOU 11 Plus. We have a few things to dive into. Weather-wise, we are quiet at home, but today does mark the end of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. So we'll do a little bit of a deep dive, a little bit of an unpacking as to how the season looked in just a minute. First though, a look out towards downtown tonight. A lot of cloud cover out there, and so that will keep us a touch warmer tonight. Look at the numbers that we put in today. 39 degrees at Bush this morning. That is almost 10 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. Not very often that we see a below normal overnight temperature here in Houston. And then our high temperature close to normal, 64 degrees. We should be at 68 this time of year, but the cloud cover again really helping to keep those temperatures on the cooler side. Sunset tonight was at 5:21. By the way, we are now seeing the earliest sunsets of the year. We do turn a corner within the next 2 weeks, but despite that, the days will keep getting shorter because our sunrise times keep getting later. That'll continue through about January, but a sign that we are getting close to our turning point. Okay, here's a look at your forecast now. As we get into Sunday and the start of the upcoming week, weather is going to be dry, and we'll actually start to see more sunshine starting Sunday and big time as we get into Monday. Things change, though, for the middle of the week. So Wednesday into Thursday, that is when our rain chances will return. And again, as I mentioned at the start of this video, we are now at the end of hurricane season. We'll do a deep dive and an unpacking on that in just a second. Okay, for the overnight, mostly cloudy, so not as cold. We'll probably be in the 50s to around 50 degrees from the city down to the coast. Once you get north of the city, that's when we could be a little bit chillier, low to mid 40s. All right, getting into Sunday, more sunshine and so a little bit warmer. High temperatures should make it close to 70 for a few spots, otherwise upper 60s, so pretty much right on target for where we should be this time of year. Getting into Monday, still a lot of sunshine. In fact, that will be the pick day of the week with temperatures again near normal. But look to the south here, around the U.S.-Mexico border. We've got this area of low pressure that tries to develop, and that is what will bring us our rain chances by the middle of the week. So Monday and Tuesday look great. Again, dry weather, sunshine, seasonable temperatures. Rain chances spike, though, as we get to Wednesday into the widespread category, at least a 70% chance that we see showers and thunderstorms, and then chances will kind of linger getting into Thursday, Friday, possibly even Saturday as well. So a little bit of a pattern adjustment here getting into the second half of the upcoming week. First future track for tonight, again, the clouds will hang on from the city down to the coast. I think the farther north you go for tomorrow, the more sunshine you're going to see. But as the day goes on, the clouds will start to dive south. And so I do think we'll see sunshine for pretty much every part of the area at some point tomorrow. But it will definitely be more sunshine the farther north you go. Then Sunday night into Monday, the clouds clear. And so temperatures will drop more, but Monday is gorgeous. Look at this, not a cloud in the sky the whole day. So Monday looking like definitely the pick day of the week with seasonable temperatures and a lot of sunshine. Then we get to Wednesday. So Tuesday we're still dry, the rain is to the south, but watch this, getting into Wednesday, all of that moisture kind of rides along this boundary that sets up along the coast, and this area of low pressure will kind of march along that boundary as well. And so that will bring the chance for rain and storms to our area as we get towards the middle of the week. Do I think it's a total washout? No, but I do think we're going to see rain through a good part of the day on Wednesday. So if you have anything going on outside, just plan accordingly, plan ahead for that. Wednesday is the wet day for this week. So of course, with the increased rain chances, humidity comes back as well. We're bone dry the next few days. Wednesday, the humidity spikes back into the humid category. We stay there more or less through the end of the week. And so with more humidity, our overnight temperatures come back up. Tonight we'll be in the low 50s in the city just because of the cloud cover that acts as a blanket. As we get into tomorrow night, once the sky's clear, the temperatures drop again. 44 in the city, 42 Monday night into Tuesday morning, so some cold mornings coming up to start the week. And then once the humidity comes back, those overnight temperatures go back up. 50s and 60s for your overnight lows for the end of the week getting into the weekend. Looking ahead then beyond that into the start of December, a bit of a split here across the country. We'll see very warm weather, above normal temperatures, pretty much the western half of the U.S. and the eastern half were below normal. We are on that dividing line here in Houston, so temperatures will fluctuate between above and below normal days, but all in all, we're going to average temperatures near normal for the first part of December. And then it looks like we might turn cool again as we get towards the middle of the month. All right, Tropics update, and the last one that we are doing for this year, because today marks the end of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. Of course, there are no areas to watch out there, but hurricane season again runs from June 1st to November 30th, so today is the last day. So how did we stack up against the actual forecast? Remember, NOAA and Colorado State University, those are the two big entities that put out forecasts at the beginning of the year, and then they typically update them halfway through the season. So this is the NOAA forecast compared to what verified or what the actual numbers were. And this is going based off of the NOAA August update. So named storms, they had forecasts 17 to 24. We ended up with 18. Hurricanes, they forecasted 8 to 13. We ended up with 11. And then major hurricanes, they forecasted 4 to 7. We ended up with 5. These are above normal numbers. So the forecast checked that it was in a above normal season. And of course, we saw our fair share of weather here in Houston towards the beginning of the season with Beryl. But it wasn't just us. In fact, the Gulf Coast was particularly hit hard this season by the storms. So this is a map. This is going to show the storm tracks that we saw through the whole season. We start the clock on day 1 of hurricane season, June 1st, and watch this. So we see the tracks beginning to populate. So all of the storm tracks are in yellow. Any tracks that you see that are in red indicate landfalls that happened in the United States. So we run the clock all the way to today, the end of hurricane season, November 30th. And wouldn't you know it, every single landfall that happened this year in the United States happened through the Gulf of Mexico. There was not a single one that came in from the Atlantic. So it was all Gulf landfalling storms. We had Beryl, followed by Debbie, which went up into the Big Bend coast and then kind of meandered and then reemerged back from South Carolina from the Atlantic. Then we had Francine that went out towards New Orleans. And then the two big ones, Helene, which of course created all of that tremendous devastation getting into the Appalachians with flooding rain. This is the one where there's still folks up there without running water that are still trying to rebuild. Just an unbelievable amount of devastation in the Appalachians. And then finally, Milton was our last landfalling system. That made landfall just to the south of Tampa Bay around the Sarasota area. So this was one of the most, one of the costliest hurricane seasons on record, and also one of the deadliest in recent memory. And that was primarily thanks to Helene. But of course, our big storm this season was Beryl, and that was all the way back in July, early July, just after the 4th of July. All right, back to our weather. For the overnight tonight, temperatures in the 50s for the city and points south, probably around 60 for Galveston, and then 40s up north where we have more clearing. It'll get cold up there, could see a few upper 30s. Then for tomorrow, more sunshine, so milder temperatures back into the upper 60s. Would not be surprised to see a couple of 70-degree readings as we get to the afternoon. Another gorgeous day then for Monday, 68 degrees, tons of sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. 65 Tuesday, but you wake up at 42. And then it's showers and storms for Wednesday and Thursday. Again, Wednesday looks like our rainiest day of the week, a 70% chance. And then just kind of scattered showers for Thursday, Friday, even into Saturday, with temperatures dropping back to the low and mid 60s.